So what is Countam? So Countam is an accounting plus software designed specifically for Nigerian SMEs. I mean, our vision is to be the #1 accounting software by 2028 that's trusted by financial institutions and regulatory authorities. Okay. Our mission, my mission, as they say, is just to make Countam just the easiest way for any Nigerian SMEs to run their business, stay compliant, and get funding. That's our mission in a very short way. I hope you're all with me. Okay, we'll continue. So Countam has been built as a accounting software, but it's also has elements of everything that a business could need without having to buy other tools. So on top of all the accounting, we've also put in payroll, we've put in tax compliance, we've put in a point of sales so that from point of sales goes directly into sales, directly into banking. And of course, inventory is as standard. It's not an added module. You don't need to pay extra. So all of these features are part of what you get on all the Countam packages. So there's no tiered system. It's only what is the price of the total software. So who is Countam for? Countam is used for any SMEs that is growing. So we know that we may not be appropriate for micro businesses. So we focused on businesses that are earning per annum 50 million to 5 billion in key sectors, and are just really looking to structure their business, are really looking for better visibility, better compliance, and they've got staff. They may want to get funding, and they just want to be able to improve the reporting in their business. So when people come to us, those are the questions that we ask them. What are they looking for? And what is their ultimate business need? So when they have any of these issues, then we know that Countam is for them. So what are the things that have been built into Countam that can help you to help your clients, right? So ultimately, we want them to have clean books, okay? So clean books as in it's easy for them to get their records and analyze their businesses, and it's linked to their bank account. So since the bank account is like the holy grail in Nigeria of what we say is the actual business activity, linking it directly makes it very efficient. We've made sure that under purchase ledger, it automatically can do the withholding tax deduction calculator so that it doesn't have to be calculated off in an Excel spreadsheet. It happens inside the system. As we've built payroll, it generates your payroll schedule that it can be used for payments. And then we've also built in other features such as the e-invoicing as well. So this is just a summary of all the features again. So before we go any further and go towards the demo, we just want to just go through the rules and guidelines for being a tester for Countam. So this is all about your honest feedback, right? And helping us refine the products for thousands, hopefully millions of SMEs, right? And we want to see how it's performing in the real life with current Nigerian data. It's about stressing it. We want you to break it. We want you to challenge it. So it's currently in beta testing mode, which means it is not live, right? So we are still refining the product pre-launch. So it may have bugs. There may be incomplete features. So we're just being very transparent that it's as it is right now is ready. It's our version 2 right now. So the purpose is to continue to improve the performance, its functionality, and overall user experience. And that's why we really want your help. Okay, so these are the tester rules. We ask you not to share, any screenshots for now or data or access it with anybody outside of your team. So that's why we are doing the logins and we'll give you access. We will have feedback that we will need you to complete. And we'll put you on a WhatsApp support group anyway. So before you signed up, we asked you to accept these rules. So I'm just reading them out again. Okay. So one of the conditions for all of you being here was that obviously this is a paid beta testing option that we are offering for different tracks. So there's a 30-day track and a 60-day track. So what we're asking is some conditions for the payment, which is that based on which track you use, there are some conditions of what we would like you to use. As the requirements for the testing. So one is the minimum number of transactions. Okay. So if you're in a 30-day track, that is 1,000 transactions. If you're on the 60-day track, that would be 3,000 transactions. So we've also broken it down into, across the different modules, sort of what's like the minimum quantity of transactions to make up 1,000, because we don't just want 1,000 in just one area, right? You probably wouldn't do that anyway, but we're just being very transparent. We're asking you to test it across minimum number of businesses. So for 30-day track, that's 2 businesses. That's 4 businesses. Now, what we're saying is we don't need to know who your clients are, right? So you are testing it based on who you serve and using it for them. You are not sharing any of your clients with us. All we are asking for is to share your transaction number of transactions that you've completed. So you can totally give fake client numbers, fake this, fake that, but it's really just about the data set and getting your feedback on the software. Okay, so the deliverable would be at the end of 30 days, we would want a feedback report, which we will share a template with you just to cover what did you notice, any workflow gaps that we may have missed, and any features that you would suggest that we look into. And then at the end of the 30 days to have a debrief call, right? So during the process from your onboarding, which will start from as soon as you get the login, we will put you on your specific WhatsApp group and email support as well. And then for each company, each firm, if you want additional support of specific onboarding, we'll give you 60 minutes as well. Okay, just to take you through all the features I will go through here. As we stated on the on our intro offers, we have fee for the 30 days and for the 60 days based on the number of accountants as well that are doing the transactions. So that's why we're asking you to let us know who they are, because that forms the payment. So we've structured the payments terms so that you'll automatically get 10% on mobilization, which is after signing up. As we said, the kickoff has been scheduled and the testers have been named. So after this call, you will get that document to fill it in with your bank details so that we can start the first payment. And then the 40% will be after milestone 1, which we're asking is after the minimum transactions has been achieved, which you can do that all in week 1, or you can do that over a slower basis. And then the final 50% is paid after the feedback report has been submitted and we've had the debrief call as well. Okay, are you with me? Are there any questions? Okay. Okay. Okay, so I'll continue. So the overall big picture of this is that obviously we, as Countam, is looking for partners, right? So we are out launching next month, and we will be looking for when people purchase, we already have people that are looking for referral companies. They're looking for who's going to help them with implementations. So we are proposing, once we know who wants to partner with us, that we would have a revenue share for these implementations and referrals. So during this whole process, if you're able to understand Countam and we understand how you work, then we feel that everything will have worked. Okay. So that's my initial blurb. So if there's no questions, then we can move to seeing the product in action.
Mute yourself and stop sharing.
Okay, so so we're just in the demo now. So when we give you your login ID and your organization ID, which is the most important thing in Countam, and the email for each person, this is the screen that you would go to. So when you log in, Countam is browser-based, so you'd have to log in on a laptop or on your phone. And the first screen you would go to is here, and you would put in your organization ID we would have sent you with the email that you've given us for the individual and the password, and you would be able to log in. So when you log in, this is the first thing that you will see, okay? Which is, it's very blank, right? So it's a blank canvas waiting for you to populate the software. So it takes you first to this dashboard screen where we've sort of given you what are the steps required to make sure that you've set up the system correctly. So the first place to go is in settings. So before I even go that, it's just to show you left-hand side, all the different modules that are available we'll leave you to experiment so we don't take so much time. But the first place to go is in settings. Okay. So the first thing inside settings is your organization profile. So this is where you would put the data in for your clients. What's the name? It would automatically come up with the name which you've registered with. You can change the industry, put the address. So once all of this stuff in, as you know, with organization ID, it will then create an account for you. Sorry, it's already created an account for you. And you can do the KYC as well if you plan to use the wallets, the virtual wallets that we have inbuilt into Countam as well. So I just wanted to show you all the different aspects of the settings. So you have your financial settings as well, which is critical to choose your financial year and when you want it to start. And when you want to lock the period for before any transactions you want to make. So you can save. Then you have user management. So depending on how many users you've got, you can here invite them as well here. The system has already generated a store by having an account, but you can create more stores if you need for your inventory or if they have lots of different branches. You have the depreciation master to be able to set up fixed assets. So it's just simply to set up your different assets from your chart of accounts. So we have a project feature as well, which allows you to create a project for to be able to track profitability per project, per location, per item by product. If you have discounts, you can set up the discount master so that it automatically comes up. And for your sales, if you have any terms and conditions, you can just give it a name and then just put, so it comes up for any invoice that you create. So if we now go into the dashboard that we were on before, so we'll see that it's still asking us for information. So we're now going to go to, once you've started filling in all the different elements, so we're now going to switch the screen to just show you what it looks like when it's been completed. Okay, thank you. Sorry for the delay. So once you have entered, so if you go to the dashboard, getting started. Right, you should see that all the different elements have been completed. So once you've put in the organization details, you've put in the KYC, the system starts showing that your progress as you go through and set it up. I will just put it right now that you do not have to complete the KYC. As I said, the KYC is only The KYC is only if you want to, yes, if you only want to use the wallet system in Countam. Okay, so one of the things I'm just going to go through is what are the first things to do after you have done your financial settings. So if we go to financial settings, so you've set up your period, you can put in your tax ID. What do you want to call VAT to show? And for example, if you have other charges such as consumption tax, if it's a food business, if you have any other levies that you charge as standard, you can also toggle it on here as well. Okay. So the next thing that you would need to set up would be your bank. So if you go to banking, you can add bank. So you can use any name of a bank that you want to create. Now we will have a auto link for those that want to link their accounts directly, but you can create the account, put the account number in, choose the code you want to have it in the chart of accounts, add the opening balance. It needs an opening balance for it to show in the overview, determine the type of account type, the currency, and is it an account that you're going to use in your point of sales module? So if you have a ATM, those ATM terminals, is it a Zenith one? Is it a Money Point? So whichever account, whichever bank you use it for, you can make that available here as well. So you will now add the account. Now, if we go back to accounting, one of the things we've built into Countam already is a default chart of accounts here. So if you go down, please, to show. So we've inbuilt sort of a chart of accounts that is available from everybody when you start. So it has all the control accounts. So if you collapse it, can you collapse it? So under liabilities, equity, income, expense, depreciation. So what you can then do is, let's choose income, for example, under income. So you've got different revenue type accounts that you can start using straight away and post into. If you want to create other accounts, then you would obviously just simply add account here. So we've got two different ways you can obviously add. You can either search, for example, say revenue. So under you've got the different types of revenue that you want to create a new account. So it would automatically have create the account type, what's the parent, so that your reporting in your trial balance is in the correct place already. So we've tried to structure it to make it as easy as possible. So income reports under so revenue imports under income so that it applies to your P&L and all your reporting. All you have to do is create the name. So let's create a new name. So tester revenue 2 or something. Okay, something. Okay. So the system would give you the next account code that's available. You can change this code if you want to. If you have your own codes, you can go in and change all the codes. So that would save this account. So if we now go under revenue in the chart of accounts, we should see it. Income. So there it is, tester revenue. So that's available to use automatically as well. So we hope that that is helpful. Under tax rates, under accounting, once you've created your input your organization ID, the system auto-generates the VAT accounts for the statutory VAT accounts that are applicable based on the Nigerian tax laws. If it changes, then we would change it automatically in the system for you as well. As you can see, we have journals feature as well. But once you've set up the bank and you've checked your tax rate is correct, then the next thing would be to create your products under inventory. So under item is category first. If you want to group your items under specific categories, it's helpful to start with create the category first. Then you would move to add item. So under add item has been created to match e-invoicing requirements based on the new NRS e-invoicing requirements, which actually makes it mandatory that every goods, anything that's goods, has to have an HSN category code as well. So what we've built are two different things. So you can either create your own, you have to create your own category, number one, name it, and then to check the HSN code, you can either check noodles. If you don't know what it is, you can either check noodles. If it's not there, then you would then have to check. So if you check pasta, you can then see instant. I think it's under instant. Right? So if you choose the HSN code, then it would automatically fill in the category and the subcategory as well. But if you know what your category is, it's also simple. So for example, if you're not sure what you're looking for as well, so you've got the different categories available that we've created using the 4,000 list from customs. So we've categorized them. So you can look, if you know it's under food and beverage, then if you go to food and beverage, for example, you would only see sub-items that relate to food and beverage to help you search for easier. So let's say you know it's um, sugar and confectionery, for example. And then under sugar and confectionery, you would then have the list, all the different items that are there for you to search. So we've tried to make it easy in that way as well. So the rest of filling in the items are standard, the inventory, what's the unit, is there opening stock, what's the value, what's the selling price. So since we know it's a sales item, if we go to accounts, selling, we would see all items that relate to sales only, right? So anything that's in revenue is what would show up. Same thing if we go to purchases, we should see all things that relate to purchases that we can inventory or purchases there as well. So sales is not mixed up with purchases. So we've tried to make it that it's very easy for anybody using it. Of course, you can add images, which will show up for your point of sales. If you have images, you just need to add any item and then you would save it. So let's save it. So you need to choose the store as well. Add to POS if you wanted to show under your POS for you to be able to sell and save. Anything that it needs. Okay, so if we go to the product list, we should see the product there listed and available. So at this point in time, we can now sell. So you can either sell under point of sales, point of sales. So you would see what we've created there. And then if you click it, okay, so it needs to add stock for it to be able to work. So he'll fix that quickly. Selling price. So we now have the product available for sale. And then since you've created if you've created any discounts, you can see VAT automatically comes up. You can see all the inbuilt guardrails we've put into the software. So when you go to payments, you didn't set discount, so it's not there, but you can do manual discounts as well. So for collecting the payment, this is where you would now choose, is it cash or is it card? If you go to the bank that we just created, card that we've created. So if you want to split between cards, so any banks you've created for the POS or POP payments is possible. So we need to see the transaction on the POS. So if we go to the dashboard, we'll then be able to see the transactions. You can just close out of it. So you can email it instead of printing on paper. So that's a feature to save paper. You can just collect customer emails and send to them as well. So if we go back to dashboard, we want to see what it shows. So we should be able to see the transaction for today as we've got the sale. And so therefore you can see all the transactions that have happened for today or over the period or over the month. So same issue. So if you wanted to make sales in not through POS, but through invoicing, you would go to sales, add invoice. We've created the customer, you can create a customer. So as you know, we need to collect tax IDs for all our customers now as part of the tax. So fill in all the information and details. So we can really collect customer data. So you can now also do sales by who, track who, and it would show the revenues that have been created, revenue, the item that's been created, and the different revenue accounts that you can choose, and any projects. So if you've created a project to be able to track a specific product, you would choose the product, the project. So he hasn't selected any, but the tax rate is automatically comes up because it was created in when you created the product. And as you can see, you can also see what's the outstanding stock levels as you're creating the invoice, so that you make sure you always have stock to be able to make the sale. So that would also be a way to make sales. And if you can see the terms and conditions like we created is there at the bottom as standard. So this is where you can put your payment details, your banking details, etc. So we can save it. Okay, so we now we've easily created an invoice and customers. So the next, of course, would be to do the same for purchases. So when you have bills, same, you can create all your vendors in advance or create them as you're going, or you can upload it. Again, we've made it so that it complies, so you can capture details of your customers so that e-invoicing can also work. So again, any item. So let's create a service item that is not product. So like marketing. So if it's not a product, you can also just create a item easily as well. Give it a price. Select the account you want to post it into. So there should be marketing. It's alphabetical. It's not there. So you can actually start typing and choose the project. Of course, you have to select the VAT rate since you're manually inputting it. And here we are. So you've now created the product. And this is where you can also automatically, if your vendor has given you an invoice, you need to know how much to deduct for the withholding. You can easily do it here by just choosing the category that relates to the item. And this is the payer type. and the system will automatically bring up based on the tax rates we've built in at the back end. So you will know how much to pay the vendor, and the withholding will go into your withholding tax account. So you can attach the invoice if you want as well, so we can save. Okay, so we've done purchases. So the same thing applies. Obviously, you can continue to add invoicing. Other thing that's there is payroll. So if your clients have staff and you're maybe using payroll and an Excel spreadsheet, we've got a full payroll system set up. You first of all go into payroll settings. Payroll settings. So this is where you would set the percentages, that you would break down the basic housing, whichever percentage that it is, to add up to 100. You put it there. The system tells you if it's not up to 100. So if they have utility, you would also just add any additional elements there. Everything has to come up to 100 regardless. So you have that very easy functionality to set up your payroll spreadsheets. And then based on if the company makes pension contributions, you toggle it on. So the system would automatically apply the percentages for employee contributions and pension contributions. So, okay, it's meant to be set automatically. If there's other things the company deducts that you want, so NHF, you toggle it on, it automatically calculates. And if there's none of that, then you just detoggle it and it's not included in the payroll calculations. So the payroll settings is done. Then when you go to employee settings, so you would now create an employee. So there are lots of mandatory fields, obviously, for employees because of the tax calculations, what HR wants to calculate. HR wants to capture. So we've just given quite a comprehensive list for you there. So please, as we said, you can fill out all the information, but once you've put in the details for the employee, you would, of course, then be able to run the payroll. So for it to run, you obviously have to put the gross payroll. If it's pension, we've listed all the pension companies, so you can just put in their RSA numbers very easily. If you've chosen National Housing Fund, you just put in the number. Obviously, for the state payee, so we've created it here so that we can generate tax IDs as well based on the states. So this is not fully operational because you have to do KYC. So if that's not done, this is not going to work, but it's there for those that have wanted it. So you can see we've put all the new elements of the new tax rates there as well as if there's benefit in kind calculator. So if the company provides the car, if they provide housing, if there's other benefits, the system would calculate the payroll, the tax computations. So when you run payroll, so it's created the employee, so it's there, you can see them, it's active, and then you would run payroll. If you want to edit any aspect every month, you go to new payslip. So this is where you would adjust, choose the employee, the month you want to make the adjustments. And then, for example, if there's any bonus, we've created all the different types of earnings that can happen. And then anything else, the amount. So choose something, create the amount, describe what it is. Okay. So add the yes. Okay. And then if there's any deductions as well, so let's say there's a loan repayment or you're doing a fine, it's set up there, so it's very easy to add any adjustments to the payslip for an individual in the month. Okay, so go to, have you added it? Mhm. Okay, so you would then go to, we'll assume that that's worked. No problem, we'll check that. And then we go to run payroll. So that's how you would run payroll and generate payroll for the month. Okay, so we can just go through that process. Okay, so obviously we've got fixed assets there. So for fixed assets, you have to have created the fixed assets in your chart of accounts. Um, you have to create it in your chart of accounts, the asset types in your chart of accounts. So it needs to have your, if you have opening balances, etc. Okay. Then you should be able to set the depreciation rates. Okay. Then we go to reports. Just know that time is going. So I'm just trying to make sure we don't take too much of your time. So in reports, we've sort of got very comprehensive type of reports, financial reports. So if we look at the trial balance of what we've created, it mirrors sort of the chart of accounts, trial balance. So you can see the trial balance. So we've done it on a collapsible basis. So you can see if we go to income, we'll be able to see all the way down to customer that we've created, revenue, revenue. So, so asset, receivables, trade receivables, trade receivables. So you'll be able to see all the way down to the customer for the trade receivables. Same thing for trade payables as well. So if we go back to overall reports, so we've got financial reports, we've got POS reports, we've got reports for each module, tax reports, inventory reports, audit reports, and payroll reports as well. So that sort of takes you through the whole thing of Countam and what we're offering in the software and what we're asking you to test and to be able to create transactions. So you can see like it's very easy to create a lot of transactions very quickly, right? So 1,000 is not a lot at all. So you can really create transactions. Okay, thank you. So as I said, the whole point of the whole bigger picture is that obviously we want you to use Countam so that we want to, you know, get partners. So this is our first batch. So we hope that you'll want to join us on this journey. So thank you so much. You will receive all your login details once we receive the emails of everybody and which track you want to follow. So would you like to follow the 30 days of testing or 60 days of testing? So we'll send an email straight after this for you to fill and to choose. And as we said, once we're able to get signups and you scheduled your kickoff, we'll be able to make the first mobilization payment for the testing. So thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions, this is the time. So please let us know because I've just been talking and we haven't had feedback. So I'm assuming you're with me. So please, any questions, please raise your hand so that we can unmute you and then answer your questions. Oh my gosh. Sorry, if you want to, if you don't want to be unmuted, you can just put something in the chat. Please let me know. Any questions?
You can. You to move on.
Okay, so we've got a question, which is, I do hope that one day test drive training might not be comprehensive. Of course, that's why we said that we are going to then organize for each company, a 1 hour onboarding specifically for your needs. So that's what we will do as well. So this recording will be available as well. But yes, if you want, we will set up another training for your firm. And then, of course, we have a support. So as we said, we have a WhatsApp group and we have email support, and you'll get quick responses. Definitely. Of course, we are here to support you to success, of course. Any other questions or comments? So just focusing back on this. Okay, no problem. It was going fast, so I was trying to make sure. Yes, so we will send a recording of this, and then of course, please book your session. So we will include a link to book so that we can answer your specific use case or any questions that you have as well. As you know, we want you to be our partners, so of course we will give you all the support that we need to make sure you help us test it and create a great product. Okay? Thank you so much. Any other questions? Feedback. Okay, anybody else? Okay, so thank you so, so much for your time. I know it's very valuable. So I know we were going very fast, but we just wanted to give you a comprehensive overview. We are here to support you to test the product. So please, once you see our emails, please fill in the information so we can sign you up, get you your login details, and get a onboarding calls scheduled with your team. Okay, so thank you so much. Have a beautiful day and thank you and take care.